Thank you. All right. So thank you, Mother, for 15th chapter, first paragraph. And let's see. So the one point is that I had mentioned last 2 weeks ago that for whatever reason, the word Ragatmika got replaced by Raganuga here. So throughout the chapter 15, whenever it says Raganuga, we know that means Ragatmika. And starting with giving the example of Krishna's direct associates who are eternal devotees of Lord Krishna. And it talks about the spontaneous dealings, means no rules and regulations, means they do whatever comes to their mind, whatever pleases their heart, they do it. But because they are such pure devotees, whatever pleases their heart are only the things that pleases Krishna. So they don't have to worry about is pleasing me or pleasing Krishna. Automatically, only thing that pleases them is what pleases Krishna. And as you know, that was the point of frustration for Lord Krishna, because as we saw in just after the Gopi Geet, when Krishna said, you have surrendered yourself to me, you have given everything up, your family, your social ties, your other social customs, rules and regulations, you have given them all up for me. Whatever you do is for my pleasure. So I want to return that favor because that is my rule. So I want to do something for you to please you. But there's nothing in the world that pleases you except those things that please me. So the only thing I can do to please you is to please myself, which doesn't make any sense. So he got on his knees, Krishna got on his knees, with tears in his eyes, he folded his hands and said, therefore, let your service be your reward. I have nothing to give you otherwise. So this is what's being talked about. The spontaneous dealings of the residents of Vrindavan are only the dealings that please Krishna. But they come from their heart. There's no rules or regulations. There's no external force making them do this. Mm-hmm. And this is not a learned behavior for them. This is a natural behavior. They don't have to read a book to say, okay, let's read Pancharatra Vidhi, how to perform an arti. Let's read Pancharatra Vidhi, how to do rest of the deity worship, or anything like that. There's no special mantra they have to sing. They can sing whatever they make up. And one of the favorite mantras they used to make up was, everybody, they used to make up was just put together a series of Krishna's pastimes in a poetry or a poem and just sing it. And that was their mantra. That was their prayer, or whatever you want to call it. Because the love in their heart was so spontaneous. And that made them perfect in all regulative principles. Because there was nothing deficient in any of their behaviors. So therefore, everything they did was perfect. They didn't have to learn how to play with Krishna. They didn't have to perform any austerities to play with Krishna. It's all just there for them. And if there were any regulative principles, they had already passed all that. As we know from one of the verses in Bhagavatam, that anybody who's chanting the holy name of the Lord has already read all the Puranas, all the Itihasas, all the Vedas, and has performed all sorts of fire sacrifices. Otherwise, they will not be able to chant. So if those of us who are able to chant have done all that already, you can imagine these friends of Krishna who are Ragatmika level, who are very dear to him and who are completely 100% attached to Krishna. The attachment is so deep, they don't know anything else. So this is what's being defined as Ragatmika Bhakti. Mm-hmm. So in other words, nobody has tell his friends like Subal, for example. Everybody has heard the name Subal?
Yeah, Krishna's friend.
Yes, Prabhu.
Who was he?
Very intimate friend of Lord Krishna.
Okay, but other than that?
Sandipi Muni's son.
No.
No?
No.
Yogamaya, this.
No. Subal was Radharani's one of sorry.
Okay,
Chandra's
so
brother.
okay, Madhumangal, I messed up. Yeah.
No, that's not Madhumangal. Chandravali's brother. But he looked exactly like Radharani. Exactly like Radharani. Except he was a male, she's a female. But anyway, my point is, so he didn't have to learn how to play with him. Nor did he ever have to ask permission from Krishna, can I play with you? And as a matter of fact, there was a demon who got caught because he went to Krishna and said, can I play with you? He was dressed up as a cowherd boy. Does anybody remember the name? Pop quiz today. Who was the demon who went to Krishna and said, can I play with you? And Krishna knew right away, this is a demon. And the hint is, Lord Balaram killed him.
Shishu. But Lord Balaram killed him.
Come on, people. Pralambasur.
Pralambasur.
Okay. All right, so let's move on. So who wants to read the next paragraph?
I can read, Prabhuji.
Please go ahead.
Shri Rupa Goswami has defined Ragatmika Bhakti as spontaneous attraction for something by completely absorbed in thoughts in it, with an intense desire of love. Devotional service executed with such feelings of spontaneous love is called Ragatmika Bhakti. Devotional service under the heading of Ragatmika can be further divided into two categories. One category is called sensual attraction and the other is called relationship.
Thank you. So another, or rather I should say further elaboration on the Ragatmika Bhakti. And so we talked about the spontaneous attraction. Spontaneous attraction means it's coming from the heart. There's no external force.
Natural means.
Natural, totally natural. It's like closest example you can think of is a mother's love for the child, for her child. So totally spontaneous, no rules apply. Nobody has to tell her to do this. It just is there in her heart. So similarly, these devotees, they have love for Krishna in their heart. And therefore, they're completely absorbed in Krishna's thought, which means nothing else comes to their mind. Nothing else distracts them. They can only think about Krishna and nobody else, and no other thought comes to their mind. And the desire to love Krishna is so intense, they're willing, they're happy to leave anything for Krishna's love. That's all that matters in their life. Their actions, their behavior, their thought process, their future, all starts and ends with love for Krishna. That is what Rupa Goswami is saying is Ragatmika Bhakti. Now, then he says there are two types of Ragatmika Bhakti. And this will be discussed later on in more detail, but he's just giving the name here. Sensual attraction, which is also known as Kam Rupa Bhakti, which is the Sanskrit word. Kam means desire. Rupa means the form. So this is in the form of a desire. So sensual attraction, which is basically the gopis. The other is called relationship. Relationship is like sambandh. So sambandha Rupa Bhakti. It's all the relatives of Krishna other than the gopis in Vrindavan. And some relatives in Dwarka. Those people who think of Krishna as a child, or as their child, or as a friend, or as an elder brother, or elder period. Okay, any questions so far? Okay, then let's go to the next paragraph. Who would like to read?
Should I continue?
No, unless somebody
I can read. Yeah.
Go ahead, please go ahead.
Okay. In this connection, there is a statement by Narad Muni to Yudhishthir in the 7th canto, 1st chapter, verse 30 of Srimad Bhagavatam. Narad says, my dear king, there are many devotees who first become attracted to the personality of Godhead for purpose of sense gratification, from being envious of him, out of fear of him, or from desiring to associate affectionately with him. Ultimately, these attractions become freed from all material contamination, and gradually the worshipper develops spiritual love and achieves that ultimate goal of life desired by the pure devotees.
Right. So this is a very famous verse in Srimad Bhagavatam. Excuse me, where where Narad Muni is talking about four types of devotees. One who first become attracted to Krishna for the purpose of self-gratification. Second, those who actually start off being envious of Krishna. Third, those who actually start off being afraid of Krishna. And fourth, those who want to associate in an affectionate way with Krishna. And the point in this paragraph being made is that regardless of how they start, eventually they become freed from all material contamination. And they develop a spiritual love and achieve that ultimate goal that's desired by the pure devotees. So we'll talk about in detail about each of these four types. And the point being made is that even those who do this out of fear or envy, they can become pure devotees. And the point that occurred to me was that then imagine the devotees who are trying to totally focus on Krishna, what end they will have. And this is a very encouraging thought. So you should all meditate upon that tonight. Okay. Now, next paragraph will give the examples of these various types of devotees. So who's the next person who wants to read it?
Can I read it, Prabhuji?
Please, Prabhuji, go ahead.
Okay. The gopis may be considered to the example of spontaneous love in the sensual attraction. The gopis are young girls and Krishna is a young boy. Superficially, it seems that gopis are attracted to Krishna on grounds of sex. Similarly, King Kamsa was attracted to Krishna because of fear. Kamsa was always fearful of Krishna because it has been foretold that his sister's son, Krishna, would kill him. Shishupal was also always envious of Krishna, and the descendants of King Yadu, due to their family relationship with Krishna, were always thinking of him as one of their members. All of these different kind of devotees have spontaneous attraction for Krishna in different categories, and they achieve the same desired goal of life.
Right.
So you have one question here.
Huh.
Shishupal got the same kind of achievement, what the goal, what the gopis get?
Yeah, Prabhu, so hold off on that because the answer is going to be given in the next 3-4 paragraphs in a lot of detail.
Okay.
So yeah, very good question, but Rupa Goswami anticipated your question, so he answers it later on.
Okay.
The answer is obviously no, but we reconcile the difference between saying same goal here and we are saying no, so that doesn't make sense. So that's the reconciliation would be the next 3-4 paragraphs.
Okay, Prabhuji, thank you.
Sure. So again, the examples of all these 4 categories of people are being given. But what I wanted to make sure everybody knew is Shishupal's name is here. Who was Shishupal?
He was a cousin of Krishna.
How?
I don't remember. Like he was the son of mother of Krishna's sister.
Say again.
Krishna. Actually, I don't remember exactly.
Mother's
He was the
sisters.
cousin.
Can we have just one person speaking, please? Go ahead, Mataji.
Mother's sister's son.
Yes.
Mother's
Sister's son.
Krishna's mother's sister's son.
Yeah.
So his auntie. Masi.
okay.
Mausi, the son.
Masi ka ladka.
Actually, the way I remember it, he was Bua's son. Like he was Shutta Shubha was the name, and she was sister of Vasudeva and Kunti, married to a king by the name of Damoghosh.
Maybe Prabhuji, you are right. Bua ka ladka tha. He was his
And I think you're thinking about Dantavakra, who was sister's son.
Maybe.
Okay, anyway, it doesn't matter. But
Mm.
answer was correct.
Cousin
It's
son.
cousin's son. Yeah,
Cousin.
that's correct answer. Okay, all right. Let's move on to the next paragraph then.
I can read probably.
Please go ahead. Yeah, please go ahead.
The attraction of the gopis for Krishna and affection of the members of the Yadu dynasty are both accepted as spontaneous or Raganuga. The attraction of Kamsa to Krishna is fear, and the attraction of Sisupala in envy are not accepted as devotional service. However, because their attitudes are not favorable, devotional service should be executed only in a favorable frame of mind. Therefore, according to Srila Rupa Goswami, such attractions are not considered to be in devotional service. Again, he analyzes the affection of the Yadus. If it is on the platform of friendship, then it is spontaneous love. But if it is not on the platform of regulative principles, then it is not. And only when affection comes to the platform of spontaneous love is it counted in the category of pure devotional service.
Thank you. So this is the beginning of the answer to the question that Katwanga Prabhu had asked. So the point is being made, Rupa Goswami is making very clear that there's a difference between Kansa and Shishupal and the gopis and the relatives of Lord Krishna. And the difference is that the mood of Kansa and Shishupal is not favorable to Krishna. Does anybody recall a verse we have covered before which talks about bhakti being favorable to Krishna?
Yes, Prabhu. Anukule says Krishnanu, that verse.
Yes, absolutely right, Prabhu. Anukulen Krishnanu Shilanam Bhakti Uchite. Right? So,
Yes.
so the mood has to be favorable. It cannot be like Kansa thinking about killing him, but thinking about him anyway. It's not devotional service. Similarly, being envious is not devotional service. So, Rupa Goswami is saying that yes, Kansa and Shishupal and Dantavakra, all these people were constantly remembering Krishna. In that sense, they were attracted in terms of constantly remembering, but that is not devotional service because the mood was not favorable to Krishna. So, excuse me. So therefore, the point is being repeated in the bottom line, that only when affection comes to the platform of spontaneous love is counted in the category of pure devotion. So if it's not spontaneous love, it is not pure devotional service. So is that point very clear? It's a key point. So I want to make sure it's clear.
Yeah, it is okay. Prabhuji.
Okay, all right. One point I also want to make is the Pandavas. They were relatives also because Mother Kunti was Bua and Pandavas were the sons of Mother Kunti. So they were relatives and they had a lot of affection for Krishna and Krishna had a lot of affection for them. But a point is made that their affection may or may not be spontaneous. So therefore, their bhakti may or may not be Ragatmika Bhakti, depending upon whether or not it's mixed with awe and reverence. So for example, Arjun, once he saw the Virat, universal form of Krishna, his mood was totally with awe and reverence. And as we know, as soon as there's a mood of awe and reverence, there's a restraint in the relationship, some kind of formalities introduced in the etiquette of the relationship that hinders the spontaneous love, or the platform of spontaneous love. So when the Pandavas are seeing Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, it's not Ragatmika Bhakti. Other times it is. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So let's move on to the next paragraph.
I can read, Prabhu.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, there may be some difficulty in understanding that both the gopis and Kansa achieve the same goal. So this point should be clearly understood because the attitudes of Kansa and Shishupal were different from that of the gopis. Although in all these cases, the focus is on the Supreme Personality of Godhead and all of the devotees are elevated to the spiritual world, there is still a distinction between these two classes of souls. In the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said that Absolute Truth is one and that He is manifested as impersonal Brahman, Paramatma, Supersoul, and Bhagwan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Here is a spiritual distinction. Although Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagwan are the same and one Absolute Truth, devotees like Kamsa or Shishupal could attain only to the Brahman effulgence. They could not have realization of Paramatma or Bhagwan. That's the distinction.
Okay. So you may recall this verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, second chapter, and I believe it is verse 11, maybe 13. Vadanti tattva vidus tattam yad jnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagwan iti uchyate. Saying the absolute truth has three features: Brahman effulgence, Paramatma, and Bhagwan. What is Brahman effulgence? Anybody?
Brahm Jyoti, the light.
Okay, that's translation. But what is Brahma Jyoti?
The beginning of understanding the Krishna.
The impersonal form of Krishna.
I'm sorry?
Personal form of Krishna.
Personal form is or impersonal form?
No,
Impersonal.
impersonal.
Okay, impersonal form, that's correct answer, but I'm looking for something more. What is Brahma Jyoti? Where does it come from?
This is the
His
effulgence which is
face.
Krishna's
Bodily effulgence of
Krishna's
Krishna.
body. It is
I'm
coming
sorry.
from Krishna's body.
Two people were speaking, I couldn't understand. Just one person, please tell me again.
Prabhuji, it's bodily effulgence of Krishna.
Yes, absolutely
Yeah.
right. So it is the bodily effulgence of Lord Krishna that is Brahma Jyoti, and everything rests in it. Then what is Paramatma?
Super soul.
Super soul, yogis.
Okay, so again, I'm not looking for translation. I want to look for definition. What is Paramatma? What defines Paramatma? Who is Paramatma? Where does he come from? How many are there?
In
Paramatma is only
everybody's heart.
Sorry, Mataji?
Everybody's heart.
Okay, so everybody's heart Paramatma exists. Yes, correct. What else?
You can say the soul of
It's,
all the souls. Yani
im-
one Paramatma.
Yes, that's also true. What else?
It's an impersonal form.
Well,
No.
it is
Not
and it is not. Paramatma in the heart is not no form. And we'll talk about that.
Yes.
Paramatma that's spread all over every atom, that has no form.
Mhm.
So what's the form of Paramatma in our heart? Does anybody know?
As
Sorry, Nana, go ahead.
Shirodakshay Vishnu, Prabhuji.
It's an expansion of Siddhartha Vishnu, correct? But what's the form?
Invisible.
Madhu Mataji, kya bol rahe?
Invisible.
No.
400 forms.
400 form, very true. Who said that?
Okay.
Who said that?
Okay.
प्रभु जी आपने हमारी आवाज नहीं पहचानी
Oh, so Rukmini Siddha ji bol rahe hain. Yes, so it's a Narayan, 400 Narayan form.
400 Narayan form.
And the size is the size of a thumb.
Of individual soul? Besides the individual soul?
No, I'm talking about super soul, Paramatma.
Paramatma is 400 Narayan form, you are saying.
In the size of thumb.
Size very, very tiny.
No, size of a thumb.
Oh, size of
That
thumb.
way. Yeah.
What
Okay.
did you say?
What's that?
Say again.
Maybe I should have the raise your
She
hand
didn't,
because
she didn't get, Prabhuji, she didn't get.
Size thumb.
Size of thumb.
okay.
Right here.
So this is an expansion of Kshirodak Sai Vishnu. Okay. And then who do we mean by Bhagavan?
Bhagavan is Krishna.
Krishna himself.
Okay. What,
Krishna himself, Prabhuji.
okay. What about Ram?
So Ram is also Bhagavan.
What about Mahavishnu?
Sorry?
Mahavishnu and Karnadaivish.
No, but is Mahavishnu Bhagavan?
Prabhu, avatars and avatari. So Krishna is Bhagwan and rest everybody carries some
No, they're all
portion of
Bhagavan. They're all
Krishna's
Bhagavan.
energy. Yeah.
All the Vishnu Tattva expansions of Krishna are Bhagavan.
Krishna.
Basically, Bhagavan means the personal feature of Krishna. So they're all Bhagavan. So you have now the light, which is the impersonal feature. Paramatma, which is in the heart of everyone, that's personal feature. But the one that's expanding across all the atoms, that's impersonal feature. And you have Bhagavan, the personal feature. Okay, how confusing is that?
Quite confusing.
Okay, then you have to ask a question to make sure it's not confusing. If it's confusing, ask me a question. Otherwise,
every time भूल जाता है.
कोई बात नहीं, भूल जाते अलग बात, confusion नहीं होगा.
अभी तो clear हो गया.
आज clear हो गया? Okay, that's good.
Prabhuji, can you explain Ishwar to Prabhuji same time?
Is control.
Ishwar.
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 The word Ishwar means controller. And to be honest with you, we are all controllers. So we are all Ishwar. But Krishna is Parameshwar.
Okay.
He's the supreme controller. Because we are part and parcel of Krishna, we have all his qualities, which includes controlling. But we are minuscule, we are infinitesimal controllers. Krishna is the supreme controller. So we call him Parameshwar or Parameshwar.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Just to clarify, when you say we are the controller, like in what sense?
We have the ability to control whom we serve. I use the word Parameshwar, free will. But that's the control we have. We have no other control. We are controlled by either modes of material nature or by Yoga Maya. So in that sense, we have no control.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Sure. Any other questions? Okay, all right. Then let's read the next paragraph. Go ahead. Anybody? Whoever is awake can sing it. Read it. Yogeshwar Prabhu, you're on the screen. Go ahead.
Sorry, Prabhuji, मैंने अभी खोली नहीं है book. Sorry.
Sorry.
I was a bit late.
At the wrong time.
Can I read it again, Prabhuji?
No, somebody else must be there. If you've read it already, let somebody else.
I can read, Prabhu.
Please go ahead.
I don't know.
An analogy can be given with the sun globe and the sunshine. To remain in the sunshine does not mean one has gone to the sun globe. The temperature of the sun globe is different from the temperature of the sunshine. One who has gone through the sunshine in jet plane or in spaceship has not necessarily gone to the sun globe. Although the sunshine and the sun globe are actually one and the same, still there is a distinction. For one for one is the energy and one is the energetic source. The absolute truth and his bodily effulgence are in the same way are in the same way
Simultaneously.
simultaneously one and different. Kamsa and Shishupala attained to the absolute truth, but they were not allowed to enter into the Goloka Vrindavan abode. Impersonalists and the enemies of the Lord are, because of attraction to God, allowed to enter into his kingdom, but they are not allowed to enter into the Vaikuntha planet or Goloka Vrindavan planet of the Supreme Lord. To enter the kingdom and to enter the king's palace are not the same thing.
Wow, what a wonderful, wonderful. Okay, so the analogy being talked about is the sun god, sun globe, and sunshine. So similarly, absolute truth coming in the three features, Brahman effulgence, Paramatma, and Bhagwan feature, they're all absolute truth. But can everybody please put yourself on mute? Because there's some other sounds coming. Thank you. So absolute truth comes in three features: Brahman effulgence, super soul or Paramatma, and Bhagwan or the personal feature. They're all three features of absolute truth, but they're all absolute truth. So similarly, the example analogy being given here talks about when we say sun, unless we are clear, it could mean sun god, it could mean a sun planet or sun globe, and it could mean sunshine. But they are not the same, because the example being given here is that anybody who has gone into the sunshine doesn't mean it's gone to the sun globe. Next line says the temperature of the sunshine is a lot lower than the temperature of the sun globe. And then it says anybody who's gone through a spaceship or an airplane to the sunshine doesn't mean he's gone to the sun globe, even though they're one and the same. See, that this is the theory of philosophy of simultaneously different and non-different. So the non-different in that they're basically the same thing, but the different is that one is energy, one is energetic. So sun god is the energetic, sunshine is the energy. Okay, so similarly, absolute truth and his bodily effulgence, the Brahmajyoti, is simultaneously one and different. So I'm going to pause here for a second. Is that clear? How it is one and different simultaneously? Anybody who's awake can say yes.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, thank you. So that's the main point being made here. And then it says, and this is the direct answer to the question that Khatvanga Prabhu had asked, which is Kansa and Shishupal attained the absolute truth, which the gopis did also, but they were not allowed to enter into the Golok Vrindavan abode. They were allowed to enter Brahman effulgence, which is where the enemies of the Lord and the impersonalists go. They go there because they have some attraction. It's just not a favorable attraction to the Lord. So then Rupa Goswami said, they are allowed to enter the Brahman effulgence, which is non-different from absolute truth, but that is like being allowed to enter the kingdom of a king, but that kingdom of the king is not the same as king's palace. So these people are not allowed to go where the gopis are allowed to go, which is the Golok Vrindavanda, the planet of the Supreme Lord. Is that clear?
Yes, Prabhuji.
It is same in the sense that they're all absolute truth, but it's not same in the sense that they are two different places. The sunshine is not same as sun globe or sun planet. Brahman effulgence is not same as Vaikuntha Lokas or Goloka. Okay, so these people are different. Now we know of two demons who were allowed into the Golok Vrindavan Dham. Anybody knows who they are?
Vijay,
No, they're not demons. They're pure devotees to start with.
Putana and Aghasur.
Yes, very good. Putana and Aghasur. Thank you, Prabhu. They were actually allowed entry to Golok Vrindavan. That's Krishna's mercy. Okay. Okay. Anybody know why?
Putna, I understand, like, because that was the mother position.
Okay.
But not quite sure about Aghasur.
Yeah.
Why he got it.
Anybody knows?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Prabhu, before he was swallowing those children, he got slight mercy, or you can say daya bhav for those children. And because of just recognizing that, I think Krishna gave him the position.
Yeah, he basically appreciated the innocence of
Yeah.
the children and their faith in Krishna, because friends were saying, even if it is a demon, we don't care. Our Krishna is here. He'll save us. And Akasu really appreciated that. And just that appreciation, Krishna said, okay, you know what? You can go to Golok Vrindavan. Okay, thank you, Prabhu. All right, let's go to the next paragraph.
Can you repeat?
One more thing here, in the previous, I want to just confirm my understanding.
Mhm.
So it's clear, like those who are envious of Krishna, like demons, they go to Brahman effulgence. Now, to enter Golok Vrindavan, one should be either Raganuga or Ragatmika, and Vaidhi Bhaktas end up in Vaikuntha at max. Is that correct understand?
So, Prabhu, Raganugas are not ready for Golok yet.
When they perfect, right?
When
Then
they perfect become Ragatmikas, yes.
then they go Golok.
Correct.
But Vaidhi,
I'm sorry, Vaidhi Bhaktas, at best they can go to Vaikuntha Loka because they're on reverence.
Vaikuntha.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, somebody else had a question, I think.
Prabhu, I have a question,
No,
please.
bolo.
Prabhuji, when we go to Golok Vrindavan, it
When we
says
go, like it's a
of-
daily trip. Okay.
it's the end of the cycle of death and birth. Is it the same in Vaikuntha and whatever the third one is, Brahman effulgence?
I didn't understand this question. When you say same as what?
Is it same? Does it end the cycle of death and birth there as well?
Oh, thank you. Very, very good question. Okay, so first of all, Vaikuntha and Golok Vrindavan, it ends. Completely ends it. Brahman effulgence is a very interesting place. So to understand what happens, we have to understand who's going there. So can we count some of the type of people who go there? Anybody? Nana, you can start. Who goes to Brahman effulgence?
Prabhuji, jo Krishna ke impersonalist form mein they meditate.
So that's
Ah,
one.
yeah.
Yes, that's one. Who else goes there?
I mean, like, are you seeking for like an example?
No, types of people.
For instance, like how sick people pray. Like, are you asking that?
No.
They don't.
So one type of people are impersonalists or jnanis.
Hanji.
Jnanis and
Who else?
yogis, Prabhuji, yogis.
What kind of yogis?
Those again focusing on Paramatma feature.
Yes. So those yogis who are focusing on Paramatma feature, they also go to Brahman effulgence. Right? What's the third kind? We just talked about that.
the people get
Demons.
killed by Krishna.
People
Yeah.
who are killed by Krishna, most of them, or killed by Vishnu.
Or those who do not believe on the personal form. They
Well,
don't
that's
say.
impersonal. Sure, that's
Yeah.
we already talked about that.
Uh-huh.
That is impersonalist. Okay. So now all these three people, are they interested in serving Krishna? No.
Prabhuji, no.
Are they interested in any kind of relationship with Krishna?
No.
What do they want?
Just to birth, death, old age, disease. This want to get out of.
Yes, that's exactly right. Just get rid of birth, old age,
Yes.
disease, and death. right? That's all they want. So they get that. Now, what is there? What is there in the Brahman effulgence?
Light, just light, peace.
Right. Is there anything else there? Is there anything else there?
No.
No, there's nothing else there. So now imagine yourself sitting in a small room. Actually, it doesn't matter what size. In a room, which is all painted white everywhere. And there are millions and millions and millions of million power lights. You're sitting there. You have nothing to do, just sitting there. How long can you actually sit there?
जब तक माइग्रेन नहीं होता प्रभु.
Exactly. Migraine आएगा बड़ी जल्दी. Migraine आएगा बड़ी जल्दी. Why? Because you're not doing any service for Krishna.
Yeah.
There's no engagement. You're not holding on to the lotus feet of Krishna to save you. You're sitting there. So after a very long time, let's say 1,000,000 years, they actually get so bored they come down to material world. Start all
With
over.
their own choice, Prabhuji.
It's not their own choice. It's basically they say, okay, take me away, take me away. They say, okay, fine. So they don't travel on their own, but they start literally praying. I mean, I don't want to be here. Please let me out. I don't want to be here. Let me out. And they're thrown back to the material world.
Prabhuji, I have one question. Do they get a body there? As you are the way we
Everybody has a body.
understand.
So remember there are 3 types of bodies.
Okay.
What are the 3 types of body? Anybody?
Gross body that we have.
Okay.
A subtle body as a pishach or ghost. We look at this.
Well, no, so subtle body, let's say subtle body.
Subtle body.
What's the
Yeah.
third body?
I don't know, Prabhuji.
Okay, anybody?
Spiritual body.
Huh?
Spiritual body.
Very good. So spiritual body. So only way you can get to any kind of spiritual world, whether it's Brahman effulgence, Vaikuntha, Goloka, whatever, it's only when you get rid of subtle body and gross body. So you go there in your spiritual body, whatever form that is. Okay, because without body there's no existence. So you have the spiritual body, which is in the material world, covered by other 2 types of bodies, subtle and gross. But in this Brahman effulgence or Goloka, Vaikuntha, the 2 bodies, subtle and gross, are gotten rid of, which means no karma, which means no material desires, all those kind of things. Which means purified mind, purified intelligence, purified consciousness. That's when your spiritual body comes out and you go there. Does that answer your question?
So the bodies could be humans or anything, all the.
Who knows? Your Siddhi Swarup could be anything. What was the Siddhi Swarup of Madhavendrapuri?
Yeah, a tree in a Golokund tree.
Tree. Madhavendrapuri, spiritual body is a tree, in the form of a tree. So we don't know. We don't know what our form is.
So we can answer they got a kind of life, but no service is there. The missing point is service.
No service, there's no relationship, there's no attraction.
No attraction. Yeah.
You're sitting there.
But they have reached to that level where there's no death and birth. Can't they? They had some kind of association with the Lord. That's why they reached here.
No, that's the problem. There's no association because they don't believe Lord has a form. That's the problem.
No, that's Nirakar. Nirakar.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about, impersonal.
Impersonal, but that's omnipresent. He's present everywhere. Krishna is, I believe, in his expansion everywhere.
Okay, so what's
so they won't get a chance to be associated being there.
Associated with whom?
To the Lord, they won't get an opportunity because they at least serve the Nirakar roop of
how do you serve
Krishna.
Nirakar? You tell me, how do you serve Nirakar? I don't understand how you serve
Not the physical, they are attached to the Virat Swarup of Krishna, which is Nirakar.
Virat. No, there's no Virat for them. It's just light. There's no form at all. There's absolutely no form for them.
And being sitting in Vaikuntha, they won't get a chance even
There's
to...
no Vaikuntha for them. This is what I'm trying to tell you. They're sitting Brahman effulgence. There's no Vaikuntha for them.
Prabhuji, so we are trying to say that they do attain a higher platform, but because there's no service and after a long term of boredom, out of their own will, they fall down.
Correct.
Is that what we're saying?
Correct.
But when they come down, then do they get any privileges?
Yes, it's a very privileged position they come to. Because remember, they're already pure. The material desires, material contamination, this is all gone already. But the free will is still there. So they choose to serve Krishna this time or not. So if they're lucky, they get devotee association, they make progress very, very fast. If for whatever reason they get demon association or something else, then it goes other way around. Right? But remember, 242, I think it is, Bhagavad Gita, it is Neha Vikram Nashosti Pratyavayo na Vidyate, Swalpam Api Sadharma Trayate Mahato Bhayat. Whatever transcendental credits you have earned, they never go away. So whatever credits they have earned as an impersonalist, they remain with them. So they have a very high starting point. So if they get the right atmosphere, right association, they can become pure devotees like in no time. And they can go to Golok Vrindavan at that time. Okay, because they're very pure to start with. Yeah, does that make sense?
Yes, Prabhu.
Any other questions? I have a feeling that some people are very confused. I'm concerned about Shalu Mataji because she's really looking perplexed. Mataji, if you want, you can ask.
I'm just trying to understand Prabhuji because my whole family since childhood I've seen Nirakar Upasana. So I have a lot of affection for that also. But gradually I developed an attraction for Krishna and I'm trying to be on this path. So it's been glorified since my childhood. I've seen this Virat Swarup. Nirakar is a Virat Swarup. Krishna you can see everywhere. So this is what I have been grown up with this concept.
I appreciate that. And we're not condemning them. We're saying it's different. And the point we're trying to make is, yes, Krishna is everywhere in the form of energy. He says, Maya tatam idam sarvam jagat avyakta murtana. He says 9:4. Bhagavad Gita says that, yes, I am there everywhere. But you cannot have relationship with that Krishna. So like he said, Rasoham Konteya. I'm the taste of water. Okay, but you cannot have a relationship with the water or the taste of the water. You can enjoy it.
I've seen my grandparents giving their whole life meditating on Nirakar Upasana, and I believe they would have reached. They're no more on this earth. They would have reached to a level. So, just a curiosity where they would be, and
if they reach perfection, they'll be Brahman effulgence because that's what they want. This is what Nirakar wants. Nirakar Upasana means I don't want a relationship. I don't want my God to have a form. I don't want to have a form. When I leave, I'll lose my form. That's what impersonalists are. So it's too bad your current person not there. You could have asked them. They would have told you exactly that. That no, God has no form. When I leave this body, I'll have no form.
And this is what they believe in.
Yeah.
But yes, we need a pleasure of serving Krishna.
Exactly.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome, Mataji. If you want, you can call me another time and we can discuss this in more detail.
Sure, I will. Thank you.
Sure, Mataji. Okay, anybody else? All right, then let's go to the next paragraph.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, can I read?
Please do.
Okay, thank you. Srila Rupa Goswami is trying here to describe the different achievements of the impersonalists and the personalists. Generally, those who are impersonalists and are inimical to the Supreme Personality of Godhead get entrance only into the impersonal Brahman, when and if they reach spiritual perfection. The impersonalist philosophers are in one sense like the enemies of the Lord, because the out and out enemies of the Lord and the impersonalists are both allowed to enter only into the impersonal effulgence of the Brahm Jyotir.
Just 1 second, Prabhu. Shalu Mataji, I hope this is starting to answer your question. So maybe you can read this paragraph later on also and try to understand what I'm saying, because saying basically what I was saying to you.
Yeah, but please explain it little further.
Sure, I will do that. Yogesh Prabhu, go ahead.
So it is to be understood that they are of similar classification, and actually the impersonalists are enemies of God because they cannot tolerate the unparalleled opulence of the Lord. They try always to place themselves on the same level with the Lord. That is due to their envious attitude. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has proclaimed the impersonalists to be offenders of the Lord. The Lord is so kind, however, that even though they are his enemies, they are still allowed to enter into the spiritual kingdom and remain in the impersonal Brahm Jyotir, the undifferentiated light of the Absolute.
Right. Thank you, Prabhu. So basically, the point is being made that the impersonalist philosophers and the demons, they both are same in the sense that they have same destination once they get perfection, which is Brahmanifaljas. And that's only place they're allowed after they get perfection, not anything above. And then it is saying that the impersonalists are in some sense acting like an enemy of the Lord because they say, you have no form, you have no opulence, you just light, and there's no power. And then they say, everybody's Narayan. I am God, you're God, everybody's God. And when you die, you become God. So in that sense, they are offending the Lord, comparing themselves to be on the same level as the Lord. But the Lord is so merciful, even for them, they say, if you get, he says, get perfection, I'll bring you into one of my parts, one of my features, which is Brahmanifaljas. Okay, is that clear? So Shalom,
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji.
I hope you
It's
understand.
clear.
I'm not saying this. This is Rupa Goswami saying that, and Lord Chaitanya saying that.
Uh, it is clear now.
Okay, I'm glad. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, would you like to read the next paragraph?
Prabhuji, one more question before we go forward.
Sure.
Sorry,
No,
बहुत सारे questions आ रहे हैं.
sorry, this is very important you ask questions.
Okay, I was thinking, we understand how impersonalists got Brahman effulgence. We understand how people with little more advanced bhakti got Vaikuntha, and extreme advanced bhakti Uttamadhikari goes to Golok Vrindavan. So Prabhuji, what happened to those who are not into these three specific platforms, but they are into, say, they're Shivites, or they, they practice, they pray to Shakti. What happened to them? Because
So there is a verse in,
it is 9.25.
yeah, not 9.25. Devan Devajanti, Pitan Yanti Pitrivata, Bhutan Yanti Bhutejya, Madhyajano Yanti Mam.
Okay.
Right? He says, those who serve the Pitras, they go to Pitralok. Those who are Bhutas, they go to Bhutalok. Those who have the demigods, they go to demigods. So they all have their planets. And that's where they go. So yeah, everybody has destination. Unfortunately, all other destinations are in the material world. You're not out of the material world. But you do have a destination.
But Prabhu, then there are times we say that Sadashiv and Krishna Bhagwan are on the same platform of Bhagwan.
They're Vishnu Tattva, yes.
So
Sadashiv is not same as Shiva.
Yes.
Okay.
That's why I said Sadashiv. So when people, meditate hard on that specific form of Lord Shiva, do they attain Vaikuntha?
So actually, another very good question. What do you call it? The structure of the spiritual world is that it starts at the boundary of the Vrija river. Vrija river is between a river, between spiritual world and the material world. is also known as Karan Samudra, which is where Mahavishnu is lying. So above Virja river is what's known as Siddhalok. Sorry, Sadashiv Lok. Sadashiv Lok is just above that. That's the lowest planet in the spiritual world. Above Sadashiv Lok is the Vaikuntha Lok.
Okay.
Now Vaikuntha Lok has many other loks like Saket Lok. Who lives in Saket Lok?
Ram Bhagwan.
Ram Bhagwan. But that's Vaikuntha Lok. Similarly, Lord Nrsimhadev has his planet there. All the incarnations
Oh,
have a planet.
we need to understand that chart one day, Prabhu.
I wonder which.
Maybe we have a
The only thing is,
special.
it's so complicated, it has to be in person. It cannot be done on Zoom. So maybe one day we'll arrange a in-person class at the temple and go through all that. It's a very interesting discussion. But it's like 2-3 hours, not half an hour discussion.
How about people in Vancouver? How
I'll come
will
to
they
Vancouver, Mataji.
understand?
Mataji, I'll come to Vancouver for you.
You'll have to visit us for this
Yeah,
one.
no problem. We'll do that.
Thank you.
Prabhuji, when we had started these classes with
Hmm.
Bhagavatam, so there is a video on your YouTube which they can refer to.
Yeah, but the
We
problem is so
discussed that.
small. No, you have to really go through that. But you're right. There is that video there.
Yeah,
That,
that's a very nice explanation. So whenever I'm confused, I go back to that because I can't remember. So
sure, I know.
ready reference.
Thank you, Mataji, for sharing.
Yeah,
Thank you,
Prabhuji, I have just one question that Sadashiv is a Vishnu Tattva, Prabhuji?
Yes, Prabhu, he is. But I'm not finished answering the question that Nana had asked.
Oh.
But to answer to your question, yes, Sadashiv is Vishnu Tattva. Now, we're not going to finish the class today because if I'm answering these questions, it's going to take a while. Is everybody okay with that? Or would you rather finish the class, which is the text? It's 9:11 already.
Prabhuji, this is a, we need to get clarification. Prabhuji. At least I feel that this is required.
Okay. How does everybody else feel?
Agree, Prabhuji.
Hmm?
Agree. Like we just continue this discussion.
Okay. All right. Okay. So who's Sadashiv? Let's go back to the time when Mahavishnu said, I want to breathe out. What was he doing at that time? What was Mahavishnu doing at that time when he said, I want to breathe out? He was sleeping. He was half asleep. The eyes were half
Was he
closed.
creating different universes, Prabhu, when like lot of universes were inhaled and exhaled?
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
that-
Mahavishnu does that. But I'm saying, I'm talking about a time when nothing is there. He's just lying there by himself. Let me breathe out. Okay, so anyways, there's an instant when he says, I want to breathe out. He's half asleep at that time. His eyes are half closed. And he glances at material nature, who's not allowed to come anywhere near him because it's material nature. Maya Shakti. Maya Shakti can never touch any Vishnu Tattva form of Krishna. And that's why it's called separated energy or separated energy. Only Yoga Maya can touch Krishna, Mahamaya cannot, or any Vishnu Tattva form. So he glances. Now, what does the glance contain? It's not like my glance and yours. It's containing something. What is it containing, that glance? Nobody? Okay. Trillions and trillions of the living entities who at the time of last complete annihilation had entered the womb of Lord Mahavishnu. They come out of his glance. So now they're being carried away in his glance, who's going to touch the generating organ of Maya Shakti. But before it touches, because everything in the spiritual world is eternal, so that glance is eternal. And anything eternal has to take form. So that glass personified is Sadashiv. With me so far? I'm trying to make it very simple. With me so far?
Prabhu, just please repeat when you said, what does the glance carry?
All the living entities, you and me.
Oh.
All the jivas. All the jivas. Remember, जब प्रलय होती है, सब खत्म हो जाता है. तो जीव जाते कहाँ हैं? जीव तो गए नहीं. जीव तो कहीं गए नहीं. But they enter the womb of Lord Mahavishnu.
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody knows who Mahavishnu is, right? Who is Mahavishnu?
Vishnu that have Sheshnagji and he's floating.
No. I'm not asking you what he looks like. I'm asking you, who is he?
Who is he? Is the first expansion.
Yeah, go ahead. First expression of whom?
कृष्णा. मैं तो बोल रही मेरे क्लासमेट्स कोई आंसर नहीं करे, प्लीज हेल्प करो मुझे.
हाँ, वो फोकस में बेचारी.
Prabhuji, I have a rule to stay quiet in the creation Canto 2 class.
Okay, so again, I'm trying to make it, I think I'm making it very complicated. So let's just go back to Mahavishnu and his glance. So all the living entities, the jivas, they come out of his womb, enter the glance. And through that glance, they're carried to the external potency of the Lord. But before the glance has touched the Maya Shakti, the external potency, that glance is eternal and it becomes personified as Sadashiv. Okay, so far?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Now this is Vishnu Tattva, right? Remember, it's Vishnu Tattva. Now this Vishnu Tattva glass is going to touch Maya Shakti. Now Vishnu Tattva is touching external potency of the Lord. So what happens then?
All the jivas take birth
Not yet.
into the
Not yet.
material
Not
world.
yet. Not yet. Not yet. What happens at that time?
They entered the womb of Maya.
No,
Shakti.
you're right. You're right. I'm just talking about just before that. Just before they have had the time, the glance has touched Maya Shakti, but the jivas have not yet gone.
The
So-
glass become personification as Sadashiv.
No. So glass already becomes Sadashiv.
Okay.
This is before she touches, the glass touches Maya Shakti. Now at the time it touches Maya Shakti, what happens? It's like you have thrown, क्या बोलते हैं हिंदी में, जामुन बोलते हैं, क्या बोलते हैं, दूध में डाल दिया, दूध में कोई अम्ल डाल दिया, क्या होता तब? दूध का क्या हो जाता है? हाँ?
प्यार बन
दही
दूध का दही बन गया।
दही बन जाएगा ये।
दूध का दही बन गया। दूध का दही बन गया तो वो कौन हुए? वो हुए शंभू। हाँ, आया मजा। अब ये शंभू हो गए।
हाँ।
सदाशिव जो है अब शंभू हो गए। तो शंभू माने विष्णु तत्व और माया मिल गए तो शंभू हो गए। ठीक है। अब जो जीव जो है सब चले गए माया में। अब क्या होगा? अब उनके जो महाविष्णु जो पोर्स हैं, जब जहां जितने बाल हैं, उनके जितने छेद हैं, उनके छेदों से कुछ निकलता है। वो क्या निकलता है उनके छेदों से?
उनके सारे लोक हो जाते हैं, वो विष्णु लोक बन जाएंगे सारे।
कौन से लोग बन जाएंगे?
Different material planets, Prabhuji.
हाँ, ब्रह्मांड। करोड़ों अरबों खरबों ब्रह्मांड निकल आते हैं। अच्छा, वो तैरते कहाँ पर हैं? कहाँ पर तैर रहे हैं वो?
कानन ऑफ ओशन में।
कारण
कारणा वरण औषध है।
नदी जो कर लो आप उसको, उसमें ऊपर नीचे तैर रहा है। ठीक है, सिंपल है अभी तक। बोला ज्यादा कंफ्यूजन हो तो रुक जाएंगे, इसलिए क्या?
नहीं, कंफ्यूजन नहीं है प्रभु जी, सो मेनी थिंग्स है, ये साथ आ रही है ना सामने, तो थोड़ा सुनने में भी बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है, चाहते भी हैं समझे, पर वो टाइम नहीं होता था इतना।
I know.
और इतना लिखने का भी टाइम नहीं होता था। इंटरेस्ट बहुत आ रहा है,
आप बाद में
वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग।
आप रिकॉर्डिंग सुन लीजिएगा बाद में, उसमें क्या लिखिए नहीं जाए, आप सुनिए समझिए, बाद में रिकॉर्डिंग के बाद लिख लीजिएगा। तो करोड़ों अरबों खरबों ये ब्रह्मांड निकले।
ब्रह्मांड,
हर एक ब्रह्मांड में महाविष्णु एक्सपैंड करके गर्भोदक्षाई विष्णु के साथ। So there's one Garbhodakshaya Vishnu in every universe, material universe. ठीक है? It's dry, so he sweats. From his sweat, he creates the Garbha ocean. He lies down on Sheshnag on that Garbha ocean. From his belly comes out a flower.
Brahmaji, flower.
Flower. That's called lotus flower. On top of it sitting Brahmaji. So now every universe has a Garbhodakshaya Vishnu and a Brahmaji. And Garbhodakshaya Vishnu said, I'm lying down here, so I have to be up there also. So he expands to Kshirodakshaya Vishnu or Vishnu. So every universe has Kshirodakshaya Vishnu or Vishnuji. What planet does Vishnuji live in? Kshirodakshaya Vishnu.
Shwetadip.
Shwetadip, very good. The Shwetadip is in the material world. So there's a portion of material world cut into the spiritual world. Lord Vishnu resides. Ab we're confused. Oh, good. I like people who shake their head. That's great. This Vishnu is the one who expands as Paramatma, both localized Paramatma and all-pervading Paramatma. Anantarastha, Paramanuchaya Antarastham, right? So Brahma Samhita says that. The same Vishnu comes as Lord Ram, as Lord Nrsimhadev, and all the incarnations. Okay? Okay. Now, aren't you sorry to ask this question? Nana, it's all your fault.
I'm sorry, Prabhuji, but there's so much new learning. I can just go on.
And Prabhu, that all the planets in that universe are in that stem, right? So
Yes, so the 14 planetary systems
are all in that
stem.
stem.
Correct. Thank you, Prabhu, asking. So at the
So
bottom
that
of
means
it,
that means Garbhodakshaya Vishnu is kind of just outside that universe, and from
no,
his
he's not
stem,
outside. No, he's inside, but
He's
below
inside.
the 14 planetary systems.
Below the 14. Yes.
Okay. So there's the Sonam has sent you the video. It has that whole chart is there. So I can take a look at it. It's very interesting. It really is.
It's with the picture. If somebody wants to visualize
That's right.
like
That's right, with the picture, yeah.
So Prabhuji, I think the best thing is in like इस चक्कर में पढ़ने के बजाय directly Lord Krishna को serve करना better है. Because that takes care of everything.
That's so true. That's true. काहे चक्कर में पड़ रहे हो? You know, just serve Lord Krishna directly. Just takes care of everything.
Yep.
One last question, please.
Okay.
I promise इसके बाद नहीं पूछूंगी. Okay. We know Bhagavad Gita chapter 2 में लिखा है the size of soul. Today is the first time ever I heard about that Paramatma is the size of the thumb. Prabhuji, where is this?
Yeah.
Where are you getting all your secret knowledge from?
Yeah, that's true.
And where is it, Prabhuji? In Bhagavatam?
No, no, it's not there. I think it's Chaitan somewhere. I can't remember exactly where.
Okay.
But I can tell you, I did not make it up. It's true.
No, I
Also,
I believe, I have faith. Of course, it's not a made up answer. Just out of curiosity, because अगर कल को किसी को बताया और उसने खुद से पूछ लिया कि कहाँ से मार रहे हो ये ज्ञान, तो पता होना चाहिए. Yeah. ठीक है. Thank you, Prabhuji.
welcome.
And thank you to the rest of everyone for tolerating me.
No, it was a great question. I think it was a great question. Okay. Actually, it's 9:24 already. Can stop here because it's still a much longer chapter. Yeah, there's lots more to go. So let's stop here. I'm going to put a mark. Otherwise, I'll forget. Okay, so I'm going to mark it here. Stopped here. Stop here on Feb 9. Okay. That way I will start. Okay, all right. Any questions or comments before we stop completely?
Prabhuji, I was just trying to check the answer for Nana Mataji's question.
Sorry, which question? Oh, where the size is given? Okay, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, thank you.
On Vanipedia, it says it's in the introduction to Srimad Bhagavatam, where Prabhupada says Paramatma is the localized aspect of Brahman. And then he talks about his features also.
Oh, wonderful. Okay. In the introduction to Srimad Bhagavatam.
That's what it says.
No, that's great.
We'll have to skim.
That's great.
We'll have to skim through the page, but it says.
Yeah, so we'll look at that and that probably will tell you where that comes from. Okay, but anyway, that's a good start. Thank you, Sonam.
Thank you, Prabhuji. The class that I've shared today, it's actually a ready reference for me because याद तो रहता नहीं है. So whenever कहीं किसी और वर्ष में कुछ पढ़ो creation का तो फटाफट से जाके you can look at the chart or you can just forward और वहां से सुन सकते हैं about that.
Yeah, no, that's actually a really good chart. So take a look at it. Okay, any other questions or comments?
पिताश्री, हम जितने आपके पास नॉलेज है हम कैसे गेट कर सकते हैं इतनी नॉलेज, मुझे ये बताएं. आपको याद रह जाती है, हमें तो याद अभी से नहीं रहती, तो क्या इसका सॉल्यूशन? अब बादाम खा के देख लिए फिर भी फर्क नहीं पड़ता.
अगले जन्म
आपके चरणों का ध्यान करते हैं तो थोड़ा सा कुछ दिमाग में पड़ता है, अदरवाइज जीरो हो जाता है.
वही तो चक्कर है, हमारे चरणों ध्यान करो सब कंफ्यूजन हो जाएगा. काई जमी हुई है.
नहीं, ऐसे आप तो कम से कम मत कहें, आप ऐसी बात तो ना कहें.
हमने कहेंगे तो कौन कहेगा? मुझे हमारी बीबी और कोई बोलता नहीं ऐसे.
नहीं, थोड़ा सा ब्लेस करके जाया करे प्लीज पिताश्री की हम थोड़ा सा सुधर जाएं और उस दिमाग में आना शुरू हो जाए.
अरे, you're being very humble. What service you're doing in Vancouver is unbelievable.
Thank you, Pitashri.
Those of you who don't know Vancouver, she's the one.
Oh no, Pitashri.
The whole city, the community, the service she's doing with the children and the adults and temple and unbelievable service.
Yes, she's the one.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Undoubtedly.
Yeah, we all can learn from you.
पिताश्री ऐसी इतनी बात मत कहे, बस ठीक है. मैं तो जो क्वेश्चन पूछा था मुझे उसका आंसर दे दो बस.
No, what is
का आंसर है माता जी?
जी प्रभु जी.
नेक्स्ट लाइफ.
अरे प्रभु जी, नेक्स्ट लाइफ में तो आना ही नहीं है, कुछ ऐसा अभी करना है. नेक्स्ट लाइफ में नहीं आना प्रभु. ये तो हमें भी नहीं पता किसी को आना या नहीं आना. नहीं प्रभु जी, प्रभु जी कॉन्फिडेंस करेंगे तो जरूर है, कॉन्फिडेंस है, नेक्स्ट लाइफ में किसी ने नहीं आना, आपको भी नहीं आने देना, भगवान से प्रेयर करेंगे।
हाँ सही।
कोशिश तो सभी कर रहे हैं लेकिन पता नहीं कुछ भी।
बस नहीं प्रभु जी, कॉन्फिडेंस होगा ना तो वो चीज हो जाती है, बस कोशिश करनी है।
जितना मर्जी रखो, अंत समय में तो जो निकलेगा भगवान जी का नाम,
ना भगवान जी कह रहे जो कृष्णा के डोटी अंत समय नाम ही निकले तो कोई बात नहीं है।
आई नो, तभी तो शिक्षा गुरु जी हैं पिताश्री, इनसे ब्लेसिंग लेनी है कि प्लीज हमें उतारने की कोशिश करें।
पिताजी खुद ही छोड़ रहे हैं, आशीर्वाद दे दे, हम भी ना आए वापस, ना सब तुम लोग चले जाओ, हम रह जाएंगे यहीं पर। वो एक गधे गधे ढेचू ढेचू बोलेंगे, यहाँ पर कोई है ही नहीं।
कुछ नहीं पिताश्री, बस सीधी सीधी ब्लेसिंग दे दो हमें अब।
This is the most amazing part about Vaishnavas. Everybody considered themselves low and everybody else is high. This is the most, I feel this is the
सुनो, मैंने एक नई थ्योरी निकाली है। मेरी थ्योरी ये है कि अगर अपनी तारीफ सुननी हो तो कहना शुरू कर दो, मैं तो इतना गिरा हुआ हूँ, मैं तो कुछ भी नहीं हूँ, ये है वो, बस बाकी लोग शुरू हो जाएंगे। तो मेरी नई थ्योरी ये है।
आपकी ये नई थ्योरी हमारे लिए सच है, क्योंकि हम तो सच में गिरे हुए हैं ना। आपके सामने क्या हमारा,
चल माता जी, आप
आपके
कितनी महान हो।
नहीं, आपके सामने क्या वजूद है हमारा। मेरे को तो ये
नहीं
लगता
माता
है
जी,
मैं किसी संत के पाँव पकड़ के फिर भी शायद मुझे कहीं रास्ता मिल जाए, वैसे नहीं
आपका
मिलने
वजूद
वाला।
ये है कि आप सबसे बड़ी भक्त हो, इतना बड़ा भक्त कोई देखा नहीं कभी।
असली संत तो जय हैं, असली जय हैं, दूसरे संतों का क्या पकड़ना।
हाँ,
ये संत के पाँव हैं जो आपको आगे ले जा सकते हैं, उनके चरणों में बैठ के, और कोई तरीका नहीं है, वो ही सिखा सकते हैं भक्ति।
मैं देख रहा हूँ रिकॉर्डिंग कहाँ से रुकती है, रिकॉर्डिंग तो रुकी नहीं रही।
रुक गई,
रोक नहीं
रुक गई
क्या
ना?
पिताश्री, ये भी रिकॉर्ड होने दो ना, ये भी